The first detachment from the left half is a detachment from the National Conservation Commission.
Wednesday marked the 56th year of independence in Barbados, the world's youngest republic. The country also observed its first anniversary since the transition from a constitutional monarchy to a parliamentary republic. Pride and patriotism emanated palpably from the Kensington Oval as thousands of Barbadians, clad in the ultramarine and gold of the Bajan flag, looked on at the culmination of the National Independence Day parade. In her official address at the ceremony, Prime Minister Mia Mottley centered her words around the importance of solidarity as the nation slowly recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic and navigates the effects of other global challenges.
We must also recognize that we do not have to carry the burden ourselves alone, and that many hands, yes, many hands make, and that must continue to be our motto, because when you come from a small nation, very often you cannot do it alone, and it is only through the principles of solidarity and our ability to share the burden that we will make it. But there's one other that goes above all else. And the Lord Bishop is with us today, and he may well remind us of the golden rule: to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And you may say, why is the Prime Minister speaking about these things this morning as we celebrate the first anniversary of our parliamentary republic and the 56th anniversary of independence? Because, my friends, sometimes we need to remember that this country will only be as good and as great as we are prepared to treat each other and to create the space to allow each other to be the best that we can be.
Prime Minister Mottley urged all Barbadians to use Barbados's extensive history to shape a fruitful future for the nation. She cited a multitude of proverbs taught by generations past to shape the minds of current and future Barbadians as she impressed upon the populace the need to become a better people.
And I ask us equally to reflect that as we do that all Barbados, I hope, will join us in a program to wise up. Wise up, because it is the wisdom of our grandparents and our great-grandparents and our great-great-grandparents that they passed down to us with the sayings that I keep using, because I don't want you ever to forget the proverbs and the sayings. When an old person tell you, warm, warm blow is kill old cow, what they're really telling you? That one step at a time you can achieve the mission. When they tell you greedy must wait, hot will cool, they're telling you to take your time and that you will get all that you want, but if you're too hot and too hurried, that you may get burnt. And there are a whole host of sayings that guide us through the rites of passage. And that is why we will continue to protect the wisdom of our people in guiding this nation. Not only the Charter of Barbados, not only the Constitution of Barbados, but the wisdom of our people.
Even as a revised constitution is yet to be passed a year onward from the switch to a republic, the Prime Minister says the groundwork for a new and improved Barbados is well underway. Mottley announced plans for Barbados that she says will allow the country to become world-class by the year 2030. These include turning Barbados into a green nation.
Against this backdrop, I hope to be shortly meeting with the social partnership and with civil society for us to set a series of missions that should unite all Barbadians in the effort of allowing us to become world-class by 2030. We do not believe that the government has the only perspective on what these goals should be. But I share today the 5 that we will put before the social partnership and civil society so that within the next 2 months we can settle such that we can apply our efforts in the public and the private sector to achieving these goals. One, against the backdrop of a climate crisis and a world that is losing the biodiversity, that is losing almost and has almost 1 million animals and insects that can become extinct and therefore can threaten our food supply, the first goal must be to green Barbados and to ensure in greening Barbados that we protect our food supply. The second goal must be for a healthy and safe Barbados for all, and none of us need any explanation after the last 3 years as to what that will mean. The third must be to use the platform of education that we have invested in for centuries, but in particular in our modern existence, to create a knowledge and innovation hub. And the fourth one must be to leverage our geography, that Barbados must be an entrepot for the West in the Southern Hemisphere, recognizing that geography has always mattered, but it was used for the wrong and nefarious purposes for too many centuries of our development. We must now use it for the benefit of Barbados and Barbadians, that geographical position. And finally, my people, the fifth must be the economic enfranchisement of our people. And it is not by accident that we salute you, Mr. Ralph Busy Williams, for your model of ensuring that the workers who have worked with you have become owners of all that they have helped you build. Because if we are to be truthful to the journey that we have traveled, then it must not be simply for capital to get returns. But if we share the burden, we must share the bounty with labor, because we must be labor not just by name, but by all that we do and by nature.
35 national awards were presented at Wednesday's parade before President, Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason, Prime Minister Motley, and Chief Justice Sir Patterson Cheltenham. Barbados' highest honor, the Freedom of Barbados Award, was presented to Elton Motley for his contribution to the cultural arts and his promotion of national identity, Ralph Busy Williams for his contributions in business, and Ian Carrington for his outstanding public service career. Meanwhile, 250 head boys and girls representing the island's primary and secondary schools also received their leadership badges during the ceremony. Barbados, colonized by the British in 1627, remained a British possession for over 300 years before gaining independence in 1966.